Mourners, that's Lily.
And that's Krystal. And we are
The Morning Report.
The Morning Report. Tell me something spooky.
Okay, well, I'm not going to tell you something spooky, but I'm going to tell you something gay. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I love you. Do you know how pretty you are?
You're pretty.
Thank you.
I keep forgetting that,
so aggressive.
Thank you. I keep forgetting that, Leo is, stalking in the shadows at the
back. I know. He only talks in the chat.
Let us have our moment, Leo. Close your eyes.
Okay, so we are going to continue through our kind of review of what happened for Stonewall for very first Pride. So I think when we left off last time, we were talking about some of the things around the area, other uprisings that were going on, little things like that. We hadn't really gotten into Stonewall, and we are going to do that today, right now.
Let's do it.
In a second, sorry.
Not right now.
My allergies are fucking killing me. It's just I feel like there's this giant wad of phlegm and pollen living in my throat.
Yeah, mine's living right here. Just that. And I'm like, if I could yank my eyeballs out right now, I would be perfectly happy.
Kind of itchy. I'm not really dealing with pressure, but they're so itchy. Okay, so as we said before we left off last time, gay bars in New York City were ran by the mafia.
Yeah.
Queer people wanted places they could hang out, and they relied on the kindness of organized crime to provide that. The owners...
Wait, did you just say?
Would you like me to repeat that sentence?
I would.
Queer people wanted places they could hang out, and they relied on the kindness of organized crime to provide that.
I want that on a t-shirt.
Do crime.
The kindness.
Is that where that came from? Be gay, do crime. Came from the mafia and queer people joining forces. I like it. This makes me happy. The owners skirted liquor laws and bribed cops with cash, which became known as the gayola, to look the other way. One of these bars, of course, was the Stonewall Inn. I think that's the gayola.
The gayola.
So, in 1966, the Stonewall Inn was bought by the Genovese family mafia. The interior of the Stonewall had been damaged by fire when the previous owner had it, and since they planned to turn it into a gay bar, they really didn't make a lot of repairs because they knew queer people wouldn't have any leverage to complain.
Okay, so it's not really the kindness of...
It's not really the kindness. It's like, what are they gonna do? Call the cops?
Yeah. They're gay.
Probably not. Yeah. So basically, they just painted everything black to hide the fire damage. Just everything. Okay. So apparently, it only had running water to the toilets, which backed up all the time. Dirty glasses were given just a little rinsey rinse in a tub of water and immediately given to somebody else, which was blamed for an outbreak of hepatitis among gay men in 1969 in New York City. So, doesn't the, doesn't the fucking health department, but it's the mafia, so.
It's mafia and it's a gay bar.
Nobody's nobody's looking. Yeah, nobody's checking. Where was I? Okay, so some people stayed away from the Stonewall because of drug deals, and people argue about how often or even if sex work was set up there. The cops were paid the equivalent of $16,000 in today's money per week not to raid the place. What? And still sometimes they $16,000 fucking dollars.
A week.
A week. Yeah, to not raid the place.
You can pay me not to do anything. I'm gonna pay you to not. Okay, you're golden.
I could probably come up with some things, but and still sometimes they showed up because really the money was primarily to keep the police off the mafia so that they could make a bunch of money off of queer people. So, as with all the gay bars at the time, cops would check IDs to see if you were wearing 3 articles of clothing that matched the gender on your ID. What does that even mean?
What?
How do you... Okay, let's... Hold on. How do you... So... What are...
It's the 60s.
Right, women are wearing
pants.
Men were wearing pants. Women wear shirts and men wear shirts. And...
Were they checking your bras and underwear? Because weren't we burning them at this point?
I think so. But like, men and women both wear underwear.
And
it's weird. It's almost like clothing
and everybody
doesn't have a gender.
Whoa.
No. That can't. Wait. We're going too far now. There's no... We're being ridiculous. Okay, so you had to have 3 articles of clothing on that matched your gender. Which also, okay, what 3 articles are they? Oh, I thought we were done, but I want to know.
We're not.
Like,
I knew this was going to catch us up.
Is it shoes and pants and shirts? Like, everything you're wearing has to scream either masculinity or femininity? Like, you can't just have on jeans.
I don't even think it can scream masculine and feminine, because you can still, I mean, even in the 60s, there were things that still crossed the line. Right. I think it has to scream boy or girl.
But like, what if somebody's just wearing jeans and a t-shirt and a pair of sneakers?
Then you weren't allowed in. I don't fucking know.
Because they're like, I don't know, we can't tell.
Because everybody wore bell bottoms, and to me, bell bottoms are inherently feminine.
Yeah.
High heels. Everybody was wearing those big, thick platforms.
Right.
And so again, like, to me, inherently feminine.
How do you just?
And what if you were one of those people that just went commando and you didn't wear underwear?
Right. Then what? What are they gonna check? What if you're wearing what if somebody's wearing a skirt and somebody's wearing a kilt? Well, you know what? They look the same. They're both swirly and twirly.
This stresses me out, and it's 60 years ago.
Fucking Christ. Oh, and it gets better. If you didn't have 3 articles of clothing that matched your fucking ID, they took you to jail for disorderly conduct. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Nobody can wear fucking band shirts? Like, what? This is what I'm stuck on. Jeans and a t-shirt and a pair of sneakers. There's not even any, like, male or female anything. It's pants and a t-shirt. So you go to jail.
For disorderly conduct, which is like... What?
So, sometimes the Stonewall was a pretty shitty place to be. But it was apparently the only place in town where queer people could come and dance with each other. So, you pick you have trade-offs, I guess, and you are just like, this is my only fucking option, so.
My 2023 brain does not grasp this, at all.
Right. It's hard. So the weekends were crowded at the Stonewall with usually around 200 people there. And the weekend of June 27th, 1969 was no different. Some say mourning over the death of Judy Garland, whose funeral was in New York City that very Friday, was what gave the queer people the nerve and the fire to finally fight back against the cops who harassed them all the fucking time. So of course, Judy is a gay icon whose song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, was possibly the inspiration for using the rainbow as a symbol for gay pride. Possibly. We're not quoting this, but possibly.
God bless Judy.
Yeah. But a lot say pointing to her death as the spark diminishes the fight of everyone before Judy Garland's death. I don't know. I don't think I feel real strongly one way or the other about that. I mean, like, I think you can still respect what people put into this before this and still be like, we've just been building this tinderbox and then somebody had a light match.
But that's like saying that all of the Civil War before, like, the Gettysburg Address didn't matter.
Right, and we know that's not the case. It just, there was a thing that sparked the fire, and somebody has to strike the match. And this is what happened. One of the things that set Stonewall apart from other gay bars in New York City, besides the fact that it was shitty and exploitative and run by the mafia.
I feel like Leo meant to say the kindness of organized crime. And
Probably
not the kindness of organized crime.
Yeah, I should have added quotation marks there because it is pretty. This is written pretty sarcastically. I think we know what Leo feels.
I got excited because I was all excited about the kindness of organized crime.
I thought there was going to be a partnership, and I was like,
now I'm upset.
Queers in the mob. I like this.
The gay mafia.
Tongue in cheek. Yes. So one of the things that set Stonewall apart from other gay bars in New York City was that it was open to pretty much everybody in the LGBTQ community. LGBT.
The LGBTQ.
The LGBTQ. Even within that community there was a sort of class system that separated white gay men and women from transgender people and non-white LGBTQ people because they could pass as normal people.
How are you going to fucking fight a war when you're fighting a war internally?
Right. We're still like, we're kind of here, but, still kind of fuck you. And some gay men and women didn't see their struggle the same way and even thought they were hurting their cause. It didn't matter if you were underage. If you paid the cover, you could get in. The regulars of the Stonewall were the queers who turned away from other gay bars. For a lot of LGBTQ kids and adults, the Stonewall was the one place where homeless street queens, sex workers, could escape their life of scraping by on the streets, or those who had a home could escape the abuse that they were put through. So, rumors about the Stonewall being closed down because the police weren't being paid off anymore set some people on edge about losing the place that was closest to something that they could call home.
So I totally understand that thought process of hurting the cause, because I am in a straight passing relationship, but also very much a pansexual, and
Same. Yeah.
And it's hard. I think this year and last year were kind of the first years that I was like, hey, I was okay to come out and say I'm pan. I just happen to be in a straight passing relationship, because it's so hard to feel like you fit in with a group that doesn't fit in with any,
right.
when you look like the people they don't fit in with, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah. And I'm kind of same. I'm living in Oklahoma. I'm dating a male. I'm in a very straight passing relationship. I'm pan. I'm gender fluid. I'm polyamorous. I mean, I'm like, how many other things can I be like? Yeah, it looks really straight, but wow, it's not.
It's not. And I have to feel, and I feel like I have to defend myself and be like, I have dated women. I've dated just a couple, back in time. But I have no proof of that. I don't have pictures. I'm not a picture taker. I don't have anything except for memories. And there's a woman out there that's I dated Lillie.
Right, yeah.
But that's it.
But you don't, it sucks that there is some of that feeling we have to defend ourselves. But I think at least in my own little bubble here, there's really none of that. It's just a lot of support, but overarchingly, it has been difficult because people are still people and prejudices are still prejudices.
Yeah.
And so, maybe we're all part of the LGBTQ community, but I'm a white dude and you're a black girl and you're Asian and trans, and we all don't like each other. So even though we should be banding together to make each other stronger, we're fighting within ourselves. And that, it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
I think there is a lot less of that going on, at least in my own experience.
Well, that's because your friends would, I think, march to the middle of Mordor for you.
Well,
protect you. So, you are loved and protected.
It feels good.
Good,
It feels good. Because it's kind of a new experience for me. But I have the best people in my life I've ever had, ever. And I would do the same for them. I do a lot of things for the people that I care about.
So there's our little sappy moment for this episode.
Yeah, but we're going to go on to the riot now, because First Pride was a fucking riot, and let's tell you about it. So at 1:20 a.m. on June 28th, Deputy Seymour Pine led a police raid on Stonewall. The weird thing about Deputy Pine is that he wasn't corrupt. He wasn't taking any money, which most of the time means good things. But of course, in this case, meant he was all about upholding the law and arresting queer folks.
Aye.
So this guy led 8 to 10 cops into the Stonewall Inn. The music stopped, the lights came up, the police started confiscating the alcohol and asking for IDs. Some straight up refused to give any ID. These people were then led to the bathroom to be strip searched and basically molested to see if they had the genitalia to match what they were fucking wearing. Going back to the 3 articles of clothing thing, since a lot of folks who were cross-dressers or trans women at the time didn't want to be caught wearing dresses, a lot of them wore what is known as scare drag, which allowed for a quick transition to the right clothing. So something that wouldn't get them fucking arrested. Anyways, some people were handcuffed and led outside to wait for a paddy wagon to take them to jail. So here, maybe 10 people in handcuffs and a crowd of 200 people being pushed around by 10 police officers. There's 200 of them.
I feel like these police officers were just asking for trouble.
Yep. Everyone's just waiting around and tension is building. So by this time, a crowd has started gathering outside from the neighborhood to watch the raid. Because why wouldn't you, right? Like, there's sensational things going on outside, and people watch. As people were getting arrested and taken outside, they would strike poses for the crowd, which got the crowd all riled up and cheering. Oh god, I like it. The police pushed and shoved the crowd back. Paddy wagons showed up to haul people to jail, and the crowd jeered and booed. Someone shouted, "Gay power!" and the crowd started singing, "We shall overcome." The cops called for backup, and it's rumored that another voice came through telling dispatch to ignore the request. It's not clear who it was. It might have been the corrupt cops somewhere else in the city so their cash cow wouldn't go dry. Or a queer person in their hands maybe got their hands on the radio. Or a queer person in the crowd might have gotten their hands on a radio.
I'm gonna go with that one.
I like it. So, it's not clear if any one thing incited the riot, but it seems like it was a series of things happening spontaneously and simultaneously. There was one arrested queen being let out, and the crowd started throwing pennies at the cops to pay them off. Ouch. Sizzle. That's a sizzle right there. Like, can you imagine? Because everybody knows what the fuck you're doing, and they start paying you.
That's amazing.
There was a woman who is described sometimes as a butch lesbian, sometimes as a drag king, named Stormy Lavery.
Leo, you did the wrong pronunciation.
He did.
We would have gotten Stormy. It's the last name we need help with.
De Larvery. Okay. Stormy De Larvery, who resisted arrest. She broke free from the cops over and over and ran to the crowd, was smacked by a cop with a baton, and yelled to the crowd to do something. People remember seeing a leg with a stocking and a high heel kick a cop in the chest from inside the police van. Another smacked the cop with her purse.
Hell yeah, she did.
The crowd, there was some heavy shit in that purse. The crowd, which had grown to 500 to 600 people, tried to tip the paddy wagon over and started throwing garbage cans, bottles, rocks, and beer cans. So it sounds like just whatever they could grab, they were like, fuck it, use it, everything's a weapon. Then some went over to a nearby construction site where they found bricks to throw at the police. The police threw bricks right back. While all this was happening, a gay bouncer named Ed the Skull Murphy and another guy who were handcuffed together escaped the police, jumped in a cab driven by a gay man. He drove them to another gay bar that had a kink fetish slant to it. And of course, somebody there just happened to have a set of handcuff keys. So they let them go. Yes. Back at Stonewall, the police start losing control of the crowd. because there's fucking 10 of them, and we're talking about like 500-600 people.
Almost 800, because if the crowd is just 600, then there were 200.
Oh, you're right, and then
inside.
the other 200 people inside. So you're right. That's like 800 people and 10 cops.
You guys bit off more than you could chew.
Oh, so much. Some of them sped away on slash tires, which hit with just like whoever they could grab. Basically, they were like, "Oh, I'll drive on my rims, and you're going with me." By this point, most everybody had come outside. A folk singer named Dave Van Ronk, who once upon a time mentored a very young Bob Dylan. So he was probably Bobby Dylan. Wasn't he Bobby Dylan for a while when he started? Did I make that up? Leah.
I'm not a huge Bob Dylan fan, so I wouldn't know.
I think this is something Leah. It just seems like something he would know. Leo's pretty good with music-y stuff. But I lost my place. Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. So Dave Von Ronk was at a bar 2 doors down and came to see what the police were doing. He had been involved in anti-war Vietnam protests during this time and was willing to stand with anyone against the police. He was pulled from the crowd by a few police still there into Stonewall, handcuffed to a radiator, and beat nearly unconscious. Then the police barricaded the door and locked themselves in, away from the rioting crowd outside. So they just locked themselves in this bar. A reporter who was hiding inside was also locked in with them. Someone uprooted a parking meter. How do you even do that? And started using it as a battering ram on the door. How do you?
It's the magic of gay rage, okay?
Wow. Fucking. I'm still waiting on my superpowers because I keep hearing about like these gay superpowers and I don't have any.
Maybe you're just not gay enough.
How do I get gayer?
I don't know.
I feel like I'm queer as fuck, dude. It's not me.
Because I'm just sitting here whining about being pansexual, and you're like, I am pan, I am polyamorous.
Like, how come I don't get superpowers?
Gender fluid. My hair's a goddamn rainbow.
Oh yeah, I just dyed it. Want to see it?
I love it. It's beautiful. Yeah, you're not queer. You're not queer enough.
Yeah, I'm not queer enough for my fucking superpowers. So we're supposed to get. Didn't somebody say we got presents for Pride Month and presents were supposed to be superpowers?
That was me. I had superpowers. I don't remember what they were. Mine was though.
Maybe you just get superpowers because your moms get superpowers.
Maybe.
Well, good ones do anyway.
Leo says that Bobby Dylan was the stripper name of Jenny in Forrest Gump.
Oh. Well, I knew it from something.
Which, if you want to talk about it, that is a iconically gay moment for a lot of people.
We could divert the conversation.
No, we don't have time. We could do a whole episode. We should do a whole episode on our gay moments in our lives. We were like, that's it right there.
Ooh, you want to know what my first probably was fucking Tank Girl.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to this.
You want to know what one of my first was?
Yes.
A League of Their Own. That whole movie. And every time I watch it, it just strikes something up, man.
Yeah.
Madonna. Whoa.
I like it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're done.
Are we? Oh, I lost my place. Okay, so we were talking about Dave Von Ronk, who these fucking assholes, they locked him to a radiator, they beat him nearly unconscious, locked themselves in with a reporter, somebody uprooted a parking meter, I still don't know how they did that. They're using it now as a battering ram on the door. So the crowd now starts breaking through the plywood that were put over other windows by the owners, like sure police raids, they can't see and see what's going on. So the crowd is breaking through the plywood. The mob lit garbage on fire and stuffed it through other windows. Like the mob outside, not like the mob.
Yeah.
Some talk about Molotov cocktails being thrown at the bar, but nobody's really sure if that actually happened.
Oh, that's a shame.
It might have, though. The inside of the bar caught on fire and started growing as the door was finally broken open. and the police inside drew their guns to shoot into the crowd. Just in the nick of time, the sirens of riot cops and the fire department caught the attention of the mob. To give an idea of how crazy things got, Deputy Pine was among the police barricaded inside, and he said later being locked inside or being at the Stonewall riot that night was scarier than fighting Nazis in World War II.
Bro.
And that makes me really proud.
Makes me really proud. But this man's gonna have to grow some balls.
Yes, both do have Lori Petty, you're right, Leo. And you know what else has Lori Petty? Point Break. Yeah, just saying. Oh, she's hard.
Focus, Krystal.
It's hard.
Focus, Rex. My bad.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, I love you. Thank you.
I'm still going to apologize when I slip up.
I appreciate it, but you don't have to.
I'm going to, just because you deserve it.
Okay, quit being nice to me so I can read this story.
Why?
It's hard. I don't know what to do when you're nice to me.
What the fuck?
Like people in general. I don't know what to do when people in general are just like overly nice to me. I don't know what to do. So
I'll just look down here. Go read.
Okay. So even as riot cops tried to regain control, the crowd was still not backing down. Fuck yeah, they weren't. They beat the crowd with nightsticks. More arrests were made, but some queens were still resisting arrest. The mob mocked police and cheered the kick lines being formed by the street queens as they sang, "We are the Stonewall girls. We wear our hair in curls. We don't wear underwear. We show our pubic hair." At around 2 a.m., a black street queen and a queer activist named Marsha P. Johnson, who is often credited with throwing the first bottle, showed up at Stonewall with the riot already well underway. The riot in some form lasted another couple hours. God damn, can you imagine hours of this? 10 minutes must have felt like an eternity. We're talking several hours by this point. Police chases became police chasers. And cars were overturned to block roads. 13 people were arrested, some hospitalized, and 4 police officers were injured. Cash registers, payphones, toilets, cigarette machines, nearly everything in the Stonewall Inn was smashed to bits. The next day, the riot was front-page news, and word spread like wildfire through Greenwich Village. People came to gawk at the aftermath of the smashed and burned building. Graffiti appeared on the walls: support gay rights, drag power, legalize gay bars. The bar was somehow in good enough shape to open again the next night. And an even bigger crowd than the night before showed up. People from the same crowd as the night before, joined by looky-loos, people who also wanted to get their licks in on the police, students, and members of the Black Panthers, a crowd a size of about 1,000 fucking people. Some remember this night as even more chaotic than the night before, but everyone noticed how suddenly there were queer people out in the streets kissing each other and wearing whatever the fuck they wanted for all the world to see. Marsha P. Johnson led the way the second night, climbing on lampposts and dropping things on police cars to bust out their windshields. Fires were started and the mob yelled at bystanders to support them or leave. Kick lines and police chases happened again until 4 a.m.
It just sounds like a good old party.
Right? Just fucking, like, we are fucking tired of this, and you're gonna pay attention.
Okay, but I want that on a t-shirt. The "We are the Stonewall girls. We wear our hair in curls."
I'll make you one.
Yay!
I'll make you one and send it over. Okay, so tensions ran high for days after the riot stopped. Some activists realized there was no going back to playing nice. The Stonewall Uprising started a chain of events that led to the creation of many LGBTQ organizations. The Gay Liberation Front and protest marches like the Christopher Street Liberation Day March that commemorated Stonewall and eventually turned into the Pride marches, now held every June all over the world. So why Stonewall? There were other gay bars that were raided, other chances to push back against the cops. This quote from a write-up by Dick Leach, a director of the Mattachine Society, and a gay journalist who covered Stonewall in 1969, might hold the answer. This club was more than a dance bar, more than just a gay gathering place. It catered largely to a group of people who are not welcome in or cannot afford other places of homosexual social gathering. The Drags and the Queens, two groups who would find a chilly reception or a barred door at most of the other gay bars and clubs, formed the regulars at Stonewall. To a large extent, the club was for them. Apart from the Gold Bug and the 123, Drags and Queens had no place but Stonewall. And there was another group who was even more dependent on Stonewall, the very young homosexuals and those with no other homes. You've got to be 18 to buy a drink in a bar, and gay life revolved around bars. Where do you go if you're only 17 or 16 and gay? The legitimate bars won't let you in the place, and gay restaurants and the streets just aren't very sociable. Then, too, there are hundreds of young homosexuals in New York who literally have no home. Most of them are between 16 and 25 and came here from other places without jobs, without money, without any contacts. Many of them are running away from unhappy homes. One boy told us, "My father called me cocksucker so many times I thought it was my name."
Aww.
Another said his parents fought so much over which of them made him a homosexual that he left so that they could learn to live together. Some got thrown out of school or the service for being gay and couldn't face going home. Some were thrown out of their homes with only the... Sorry.
You're fine. Take your time.
Some were thrown out of their homes with only the clothes on their backs by ignorant, intolerant parents who would rather see their kid dead than be homosexuals. They came to New York with the clothes on their backs. Some of them hustled or had skills enough to get a job. Others weren't attractive enough to hustle and didn't manage to fall in with people who could help them. Some of them, giddy at the openness of gay life in New York, got caught up in it, and some were on pills and drugs. Some are still wearing the clothes in which they came here a year or more ago. Jobless and without skills, without decent clothes to wear to a job interview, they live in the streets. They panhandle or shoplift for the price of admission to the Stonewall. That was the one advantage to the place. For a $3 admission, one could stay inside, out of winter's cold or the summer heat all night long. Not only was the Stonewall better climatically, but it also saved kids from spending the night in a doorway or for getting arrested as vagrants. $3 isn't too hard to get panhandling, and nobody hustled drinks in the Stonewall. Once the admission price was paid, one could drink or not as he chose. The Stonewall became home to these kids. When it was raided, they fought for it. That and the fact that they had nothing to lose other than the most tolerant and broad-minded gay place in town explains why the Stonewall riots were begun, led, and spearheaded by Queens. And that's the crazy bananas fucking story of the Stonewall Uprising, and now how we have pride.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. That was a riot. I didn't expect to cry. I thought it was totally fun. Like, I was so jazzed up about what was going on. I was like, I'm gonna be fine.
I could hear it in your voice, and I was like, yep, there it is. I was waiting for it.
Wow.
There are not many histories and like events in history that I was like, man, I wish I was there. This might be one.
Yeah.
Just because it sounds like a fun time. I don't know. I mean, not that like dying in riots are fun, but you know.
But you gotta imagine. I mean, you're with a group of people who are just finally fucking tired of being stepped on.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it. We're not gonna take it anymore.
And I know what I would know.
Impressive.
I know what I would do for my friends and family and my home. So I can't imagine if that's all you've got. What?
Yeah, it's literally the only thing. The only people you have are the people you have in this building. And they're trying to take that. Like, So yeah, that's it. That's what we got. That's our Stonewall story.
Yep. I don't have any. I felt like I should have had something to say. I don't.
Whew. And it's exciting. Like it was really fun to just like read through that. Like I love stories about people just like taking back what's theirs. Or making a place. Like not even just taking back, but like we never had a place and we fucking want one.
Yeah.
This is it.
And this is it.
Yeah. And no, you can't fucking have it. And I have no idea how to follow that. So
I don't think we can. I think that's it.
Yep. I'll tell you about my weekend next episode.
Yeah, okay, love you.
Love you too. This has been the Morning Report.
The Morning Report.
Hey, mourners. That's Lily.
That's Krystal. And we are...
The Morning. Hey, mourners. That's Lily.
That's Krystal. And we are...
The Morning
The
Report.
Morning Report.
Hey, mourners. That's Lily.
That's Krystal. And we are...
The Morning
The
Report.
Morning Report. It's not hard. What is wrong with us?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay.